Your information station, WTIM.
It's time for the WTIM morning show right here on WTIM, your information station. I'm your host, Tim Zalabak. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. Live stream sponsors are People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. In studio, we're joined by Dr. Pavi Gill, Medical Director of Springfield Clinic in Taylorville, and Brenda Herman, a nurse practitioner. How are you both doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
Great, Tim. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. It's really great to have both of you guys in studio. We're going to cover some really cool topics today, but I mean, before we get into it, lifestyle medicine clinic. That's really the overarching theme for today. I mean, let's just dive right into that. What is lifestyle medicine clinic? How would you describe it? Elevator pitch for the people out there.
So I consider a holistic approach to treating people healthy wise. So how they want to interact for themselves and choose a healthy lifestyle long term.
Yeah.
So it would include their diet, their sleep, their fluid balance, stress reduction, just everything with overall health.
Absolutely. I know there's been a push and a recent health needs assessment, actually, where one of the recent needs was, access to physicians and practitioners out there. But I know another way we can really keep up with ourselves is by taking care of ourselves at home.
Yeah. To me, it's actually a paradigm shift in how we provide care. Up until actually quite recently, healthcare has been mostly retroactive.
Okay.
You get sick, you go in, you get treated. So I'm trying, and Brenda and I are really working hard to shift how people view health. Health is actually to be preserved and promoted. And then, the way to do that is through the health clinic.
Yeah.
And if we can do that, I think we can do a lot of benefit to individuals and to the community, because you save so much. The amount of money we spent on retroactive healthcare. That's my phrase, retroactive healthcare. Yeah.
And I haven't heard it described like that before, and it really feels like a time where we can take action.
Yeah, because mostly it's all retroactive. You go looking in the rearview mirror and then treating. But now we want to go forward thinking and say, okay, let's keep you healthy. Let's get you out and about and lead a healthy life so you don't have to come and see us.
Absolutely. I feel as though so many times when people are diagnosed with anything, you're constantly looking back at the decisions you did make, whether it be, substances, or whether it's, just healthy eating and then hydration every single day. So that is really awesome. Just talk to us a little bit more about what you guys do actually at the clinic. Do you have people come in? Do you give them information? Do you provide resources out there? What does it look like?
Everything. How am I to handle that?
So when patients come in, we have to meet them where they're at. So we're not asking them to completely change their lifestyle, but making small steps to reach their future goals. So I don't expect, exercise requirements or recommendations are about 150 to 250 minutes per week, but not everybody can meet that. But they can make small steps each week to get closer to that goal. Or, a whole food plant-based diet is recommended, but I don't expect everybody to eliminate all meat from their diet, but making one meal, a whole food plant-based diet, just making steps towards that goal.
There are so many diets out there. There are so many different exercise plans. You go on social media and I get overwhelmed by that stuff. And I just try to keep it in the back of my mind when I'm cooking a meal. Maybe once a week I try to do a plant-based diet, but just throwing someone into a plant-based diet after a whole life, I'm not doing it. That's really tough.
That's the key, though. I was at this conference, the ACLM, American College of Lifestyle Medicine Conference. And the one thing that they stressed, you don't have to make changes which are mega changes. Micro changes work. Anything. If you can have somebody say, okay, you know what? I'm just going to have a meat-free Monday.
Sure.
And that's great. And that's a good start. And then, if you skip a Monday, fine, you skip a Monday. The main thing is just to focus on what you've done, not when you sort of, fall off the wagon. We all do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But just get back on and keep going.
Sure. So with this lifestyle clinic, it'll get us on a road that is probably best for our success.
Correct.
Well, that's really great. And how long has this been, this program here been in effect?
Been
almost
2 years?
2 years. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And now, people have been utilizing it. Should more people be coming in?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see my pre-diabetic patients because they're on the cusp of needing medications.
Yes.
And so as that hemoglobin A1C starts climbing, we can prevent that from escalating and hopefully prevent them from needing medications,
Sure.
which is really something that I like the most.
That was a story that struck me. I was young in my schooling careers. I had a teacher describe to me that she was it was a appointment where she was going to be diagnosed with diabetes. She said, "Give me a month."
Yeah.
She made some changes, maybe some micro changes that probably needed some more mega changes right there. But you can
Yeah.
really take matters into your own hands like that.
Yeah.
Correct.
Really
Mhm.
important.
Yeah, I mean, diabetes, all of these are diseases that can be prevented,
Sure.
and or at least, if not prevented, it can be mitigated.
Yes.
With weight loss and exercise. And I think that's really the focus is. If you look at the cost of care of diabetes, heart disease, cancer, with actually lifestyle medicine, you can reduce the incidence of all these diseases by up to 25 to 30%.
My goodness.
And the cost goes down, of the healthcare cost proportionately goes down tremendously.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
You see scary statistics out
Yeah.
there about, every one in whatever Americans will have diabetes or will have cancer.
Mhm.
And that is kind of based on the figures right now of people that aren't quite thinking about those micro changes
Yeah.
every single day. Implementing just a little lifestyle change can
Yeah.
make a huge
Yeah.
difference, mitigating at least.
Yes.
So that is huge.
Yeah.
Doctor.
One of the things though I've noticed over time is that people are becoming much more aware
Hmm.
and much more receptive to this notion.
Sure.
I think it's a sea change in the positive direction. Very, very nice to see. And, experience that in our clinic.
Absolutely.
People who come in, they already come in with this notion, I can make a change, and they'll work with you.
Yeah,
So,
that's what's so great. You do go to the grocery store, and there are
Mhm.
options for really
Yeah.
two different lifestyles right
Yeah.
there, and you can really shop. You shop for both, and I end up filling my cart, and it looks like I got broccoli and I got Nerds gummy clusters in there. I gotta get rid of the Nerds, but it's all just such great things to keep in mind. Brenda, anything else to add to what Dr. Gill said there?
I know he's done great. So really another thing to mention is the sleep. Good quality sleep helps reduce stress and helps reduce cortisol levels. And those really can also affect, blood sugars and diabetes and obesity.
Sure. Any of the plans that we create with the lifestyle clinic there? I mean, do we talk about times for eating or does it get that involved?
So it does.
Wow.
So it really depends on the individual. So some people really like to do some intermittent fasting. Some people like to eat on a scheduled basis. And some people like to, do more of a Mediterranean type style or paleo type food diets. So we have to kind of go with what works best for the patient's lifestyle. And so it's individualized to what each patient needs. And some people work swing shifts and some people work, so it has to be based on what works for them in their environment.
Intermittent fasting, one of those that I've heard, another one of these kind of trendy things, but
Yeah.
and I hear a lot of these trendy things and I see them on social media, and I think to my doctors and I think my nurse practitioners, and are there any trends right now that you would deter people from going about? I mean, anything that really focuses on eating. There's one right now that's all red meat. These people are talking all red meat, and I hear that and I kind of wince. I don't really know what to think. What do you tell me?
Yeah, I don't think that, we talked about these diets which are very high in proteins and red meats, and people are substituting real fat for, I'm not really convinced that that's a good thing to do, because, that may help you in the short run lose weight. But the thing is, it also has side effects of increasing your cholesterol, increasing your triglycerides, increasing your blood pressure. So those are not healthy trends. So I'm not really convinced that that's the way one should go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's a full, we're getting all the dimensions right here with sleep and diet and exercise, and it can really be catered to a person's specific needs there with the Lifestyle Medicine Clinic. Before we take our break here,
Sure.
numbers we can call, websites we can go to for maybe appointments or for more information.
So our Springfield Clinic main webpage has us both listed. Also the Lifestyle Medicine. Also it has a really good detailed of a holistic approach to what we discuss.
Cool.
And then, of course, call the Springfield Clinic for an appointment with Brenda.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
In studio, we have Dr. Bobby Gill, Medical Director over at Springfield Clinic in Taylorville, and Brenda Herman, Nurse Practitioner. We thank them both so much for coming in this morning. We're going to take ourselves a break. Much more to talk about when we come back. I'm Tim Zalabak, your host of this WTIM Morning Show. Find the live stream on Facebook at Taylorville Daily News and on YouTube at WTIM TV. We'll be right back here on WTIM, your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
Lewis Marsh Incorporated says to make this Halloween extra fun and safe by staying together and watching traffic. Walk on the left side of the road where there is no sidewalk. Walk on the left side of the road when there is no sidewalk. Lewis Marsh in Morrisville sends their best wishes for a safe and happy Halloween. Shelby Electric Cooperative reminds you to make your home safe and welcoming this Halloween by removing toys and other items from your steps and sidewalk. And don't leave jack-o'-lanterns burning while unattended or place them near flammable objects. Here's to a safe and happy Halloween from Shelby Electric, headquartered in Shelbyville. Prairieland Ag reminds youngsters who will be trick-or-treating this Halloween to visit only well-lit houses. If there's no sidewalk, walk on the left-hand side of the road or street facing traffic. Don't cut across lawns or go between parked cars. Prairieland Ag in Stonington wishes you a safe and happy Halloween. First National Bank of Nokomis reminds parents that before youngsters start out on their trick-or-treat adventure, be sure their costumes don't cover their eyes to ensure your little trick-or-treaters can see. This Halloween safety tip is from your friends at FNB Nokomis.
Seeing is believing, and your new customers can now hear and see your message. Deliver your message on our 6 Miller Media Group radio stations. And now, potential customers will see your message on our new 36 by 72-inch two-sided electronic sign installed in front of our Taylorville studios on Illinois Route 29. You have the opportunity of having your message seen by over 11,200 drivers a day. Contact your Miller Media Group account manager today and deliver your message through your potential customers' ears and eyes.
There's only one Central Illinois radio station that brings you the memories of the 60s and early 70s as you are cruising down the streets of your hometown. The dial position is 98.3 FM. The station is 98.3 WSVZ. From Macon to Vandalia and I-55 to I-57, cruising 98.3 plays the hits from early Elvis in the 60s to the British invasion of the Beatles, Herman's Hermits, and many more from the 1960s. Then we swing into the early half of the 1970s with artists like the Guess Who, the Doobie Brothers, and Elton John. Every song brings back something you remember about growing up. Set a button and crank up the station, playing good time rock and roll from the Tower of Power, cruising 98.3 WSVZ.
At People's Bank and Trust, they help their consumer and business customers spend their time living their life, not explaining it. At People's Bank and Trust, they put people first. Find out how they can help you by clicking their banner ad at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Robinson from Advanced Title. Whether selling your home on your own or through your local realtor, please give us a call at 824-8007 for all your title work needs.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back into the WTIM Morning Show, this time with Dr. Pavi Gill, Medical Director of Springfield Clinic in Taylorville, and Brenda Heeman, Nurse Practitioner. We thank our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. In that first half, we were talking all about the lifestyle medicine clinic over at Springfield Clinic in Taylorville. We're going to stick on that and let's talk a little bit more sleep. Sleep is extremely important, and not a lot of people get quality sleep. I'm hearing, Dr. Gill.
Yes. Sleep is critical, I think. You know, the way we used to perceive sleep as a cessation of activity, but now we know it's more than that. It's a lot more. It's actually an active physiological process. So much so that there is a very rare condition that's called fatal familial insomnia. It runs in families. Luckily, there are only about 40 patients in the world. And in that, genetically, people become incapable of sleeping. You cannot do anything. They just cannot sleep. It leads to death invariably, and there's no treatment for it. So that sort of highlights my point that people need to get good sleep. Yes. And a lot of times that doesn't happen because of various reasons. One of the things that's the stresses we face in our life, we do not have a fixed schedule when you need to go to bed at a certain time, get up at a certain time. We tend to kind of fudge on that on the weekends, which is not a good thing. And then, of course, we don't get enough sleep. At least people need to get 6 to 7 hours of sleep, adults, and more for children. And then, a lot of times there's this, I call it an epidemic of sleep apnea, when people have all this problem in their sleep. And we can easily diagnose that and treat it. And sleep studies are the way to go. And now I do want to mention a new device out there that's being used in patients who do not or cannot tolerate sleep masks and all that, CPAPs. So it's an implanted device called Inspire. You can look it up on YouTube. It's kind of cool watching the videos, but it's somewhat like a pacemaker. It goes under the skin, threads around the side of the neck to the back of the tongue, and it keeps the tongue out of play when you're sleeping. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
It's unbelievable
Yeah.
how that science works right there. And I remember when growing up, my dad had a CPAP machine and he fell asleep on the couch with no
Yeah.
CPAP. I'd wake him up so fast because
Yeah.
I learned
Yeah.
that, it's dangerous complications
It's
can
very
happen right there. That is unbelievable with the way that goes. And you mentioned it's an epidemic with sleep apnea. Can that be drawn back to, just a rise in diabetes, a rise in unhealthy eating?
It's got a lot to do with weight. We can tie it back to our first half of the talk, that weight loss, healthy living, weight loss, exercise lowers your incidence of sleep apnea for sure.
What about the use of drugs and alcohol before sleep? I know a lot of people like to sip wine before they go to sleep.
That's not a good thing.
Right.
Yeah. Alcohol is something which really disrupts your sleep.
Yeah.
It can destroy your REM sleep and it can wreak havoc with your sleep pattern.
So I've heard it's
not
kind of a false sleep. You're asleep, but maybe not that you mentioned. It's a full psychological process there.
Yeah.
A lot of things are still moving. So that's amazing. So sleep studies and that kind of things can be handled with Springfield Clinic in Taylorville?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
We do it all the time. Over at the hospital, there's a sleep lab, and I manage that. And, we take care of it, just diagnosing and treating sleep apnea.
And for people that wanted to know, it's the Inspire, the CPAP alternative. It's called Inspire.
Inspire is the trade name, but usually the generic would be the hypoglossal nerve stimulator.
Okay. Wow. Amazing. Anything else to note? Sleep apnea, sleep in general for people out there?
Well, the thing is that there are a lot of therapies out which would help people optimize their sleep. The last thing you want to do is to take a sleep aid, because sleep aids are not good for various reasons. It can cause, mostly because of the potential for side effects. And that's not a physiological way to optimize your sleep. So
a lot of people like to pop melatonin gummies. Is that one of those sleep aids that you're talking about?
That is the lightest sleep aid out there, and it's not a bad thing if you need it. But I would still say, if you can get natural sleep without recourse to any such aids, that's always helpful. That's desirable.
Any tips for natural sleeping as we wind down for the night? Anything we can do to
right.
promote that?
You should make sure that you don't exercise within 2 to 3 hours of bedtime. No caffeine for 4 hours prior to bedtime, and then no exposure to blue light for like a couple of hours before bedtime. Those two things are very important. Then you need to have a set bedtime, and also to sort of keep your sleep environment quiet, cool, and dark.
Awesome. Now, those are easy things to accomplish
that
right
makes
there.
a huge difference.
Blue light will be a little bit tougher. I love falling asleep with my phone right in front of my face, and then all of a sudden, but that has problems.
The phones now are smartphones to the extent that they're changing the wavelength of light from blue to yellow light toward the evening.
It's called night shift. You can put your phone on night shift, and it's nice.
So that even makes a difference. And I'll tell you why blue light is so bad. Because blue light has a wavelength that actually works to stop or lower the flow of natural melatonin.
Wow.
So that particular wavelength of light is really harmful.
It's just stimulating. Wow, my goodness. We're learning a whole lot here, and going to change up. And we're going to make those micro changes in our life that can really help us out. That is awesome, guys. We got 2 minutes left. Anything else important we can talk about? I know we're getting to that season where sicknesses are starting to rise. Are we seeing any of those sicknesses rising at this point in the county?
Some. I don't think so that there's been quite the rise that I have seen in the years, right?
No, I haven't had any. Yeah.
So, but we see a fair share of flu and COVID and all that, and I think if you vaccinate, that really helps a lot.
Yeah. So nothing abnormal sprouting up out there. So that is really great. And Brenda, in our last minute here, a laser that's incoming, or maybe
it is incoming. We're hoping to have it by the new year. Wow. And so a green emerald laser. It's a low-level laser therapy that helps with circumferential fat loss. So this laser actually opens up small holes in your fat cells and allows the substance to leak out, which can be removed by your body through the lymphatic system. So it's very cool.
Unbelievable, the advancements I'm learning about today. And I'm sure, I mean, we're just the tip of the iceberg right there with those. But Dr. Gill and Brenda, I appreciate you guys both so much.
Thank you so much, Tim. We're
Thank
looking forward to the next time.
Absolutely. And I also am looking forward to that. Dr. Poppy Gill in studio, medical director of Springfield Clinic in Taylorville, and Brenda Heeman, nurse practitioner. Thanks so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. You've been listening to WTIM, your information station.
Your information station.